So I've had this casting knocking around on my desk for well over a year. Okay. I would pick it up, look at it, think today's the day, then go, nah, and put it down and move on and back and forth and back and forth. Well, today's the day. Don't go away. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I am Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And indeed, today is a Hot Wheel Redline Restoration Day, and it's a car that I can't explain it. It wanted me to restore it, okay? But I, I wasn't feeling it. It was, one day I was like, okay, I'm gonna do you. And the next day I was like, no. And then back and forth. And seriously, this thing has been in my sights for well over a year, maybe two. Okay. And I would pick it up and I'd look at it and I'd think, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it today, and then I wouldn't. Well, today we're gonna be tackling this little Mercedes Redline. It should be a lot of fun. Let's get to work. So the thing about a casting like this is that it's like you remember the video I just did where I reviewed Ken's build, and I said, you want to start with a simpler car. This is exactly the kind of car I'm talking about. It's complete. It really just needs cleaning up and a paint job. It doesn't need a lot of extra stuff, okay? Almost anybody could restore this car. And maybe that's why I struggled for a year and a half, 2 years, thinking about whether or not I should restore this one. Maybe it was just a matter of that I didn't feel the challenge was big enough. But for a new guy, this could be a great car to start with. And for you old timers, don't discount cars like this, because that's what I was doing, I think. And every now and then, it's just really nice to have a chance to get back and enjoy the hobby and not have to worry about the bigger, better deal. This is a simple restoration. I can take the opportunity to kick back and enjoy it. I don't have to really go crazy or anything like that. And it's going to be a lot of fun for me. If you watch any of my model builds, when I do the Tom Daniel models, you'll see a lot of the same stuff going on there, in that I don't have to, not everything has to be a diorama, okay? Sometimes it's just nice to enjoy your hobby, and I think that's what I'm really going to do here. Anyhow, back to the car at hand. Like I said, it's complete. It's cap-style wheels, super easy. The axles and the suspension board, they're all in great shape. The interior is there, and it's got a couple little brakes in the back. And I'm going to find out later, that's why it looked like there was these big spaces around the back wheels, because the interior wasn't sitting right. But it really wasn't a big issue. It's just a matter of me positioning it properly when I put it back together. But it's got solid glass. The hood works. It really just needs a paint job. This is a great place for you to practice taking a car apart, putting it back together, practicing your paint job. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to these simpler cars, and anybody can really get value out of these. So once I get the car apart, I'll look at all the component pieces, put them off to the side, and then I can go ahead and drill out the posts. Then I'm going to go ahead and tap them out and put some screws in them before I get this car into the stripper. Now, I know some stuff about a lot of stuff, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert on, well, virtually anything. But I find stuff out. When I don't know it, I do know how to find stuff out. And what I found out is that when you're drilling out the posts, or when you're tapping or anything like that, for some reason, that little drop of oil I have started putting on the posts and whatnot really makes a difference when the drill bit has to cut or the tap has to work. So I highly suggest using a little bit of oil, and you'll be able to find my little oiler here on my Amazon page by going to www.amazon.com/shop/Paul Udelis. I have different categories set up there, and under those categories, you'll be able to find almost everything I use. And let me just tell you, if I put it there, it's something I use and I love. Okay? It doesn't mean it's the best. Doesn't mean it's the most expensive. It just means that I use it, I love it, I trust it enough to share it with you guys. Anyhow, okay, that's all done. Now all of our favorite part, the warm liquid goo. Bloop. In it goes. Down into the depths it sinks. I'm so bummed. The warm liquid goo is all gone like this creamy color. They don't have the gel looking stuff anymore. I cannot find it. I'm really, really not happy about it. So I do have certain products that I'm really insane about. You know how I feel about Flitz. Well, here's another Flitz product, the calcium rust and lime stuff. This stuff is phenomenal. Literally, okay, you see me squirting it on. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to pick this up and walk down to the sink, and I'm going to wash it off and brush it down with my brass bristle brush, and that'll be it. The tarnish will be gone, and I'll be able to polish this base up. This stuff is fantastic. I cannot tell you. Now, that wasn't real time, okay? There was an edit there. But seriously, it was as fast as I could walk down to the sink, wash it, and come back. That's what it was. I love that stuff, man. Oh. And when I find stuff like that, I like to share it with you. You guys can not use it. I don't care. Use the Lime Wave, whatever you want to do. I just am showing you the stuff that I swear by. And that is one of the new products that I swear by. Okay, so I see that the wheels are a little bit crooked. I'm going to straighten them out right now. Again, as I've mentioned before, probably 100 times, I always leave the old wheels, either the caps or the bearing wheels, on as long as possible to protect either the back of the caps or the hubs. So I'm just leaving those on, but I'm going to straighten out the wheels. And now I'm going to go ahead, I've polished up the base, and I'm going to protect it with just a little bit of my Renaissance wax. And this is just a microcrystalline wax, and basically it makes a little barrier between the metal, the bare metal, that could oxidize, and the air. So you just kind of smear it all over with your finger, work it in, maybe use a toothbrush, a soft toothbrush, and kind of work it in, and then polish it back off, and you're protected. And you're all the work that you put into shining this up will last. So I didn't look at it very carefully, and you all were probably laughing and mocking me, and that's fine, okay? Because, like I said, I'm not perfect. I said that these were cap style wheels, and I was wrong. I would have bet donuts to dollars that these were cap style wheels, but they're not. They're hub wheels, so I'm gonna nip them off, and we'll just get rid of the old junky wheels. Now I know some of you really cringe at this, but I gotta be perfectly honest. I don't understand the point of saving a junky, beat up, used wheel that will never look good again when there are absolute perfect recreations out there. Now, if the wheels look good and they're original, you know I'm not going to cut them off, okay? I promise you that. But how often is that? Seriously, okay? So I'm just going to use some side cutters, and I'm going to nip away the wheels, and then I'll get out a new set, chrome deep dish, of course, and I'll press fit those back on. Now, I did mention that, this was an opportunity for me to just kind of kick it and enjoy my hobby, and that's really what I'm doing. I'm actually having a very good time right now. There's such little stress here, okay? I can just enjoy this build, and I actually am. And maybe that's what this car has been trying to tell me all along. I really don't know. I cannot explain why it just kept getting picked up and put down, but I'm glad I finally picked it up and am doing something with it. Now, because this car is actually a pretty easy build, I'm kind of doing things a little bit different order than I normally do, and I'm actually going to tend to the glass right now, simply because I need to get it drying. Because before you know it, this car is going to be done. The glass was solid, no cracks, no nothing. I didn't need to sand it. All I needed to do was polish it out with flits on a cotton bud and get it all nice and shiny, and then we'll run it through the gauzy. Now, not everything that I show you and everything that I do is stuff that you have to do, okay? Let me tell you what I'm talking about here. This windshield looks phenomenal, and all I did was polish it with flits and a cotton bud. If you don't want to use gauzy, you don't need to use gauzy. If you don't have it or don't want to use it, don't use it, okay? Because you can get amazing results just with some flits. Flits is a must-have product, okay? Because it works on everything. So you need the flits, but after that, the Gauzy, it just takes it from one level to the next, okay? You don't have to do it. Maybe it's something that you can build up to later, okay? But the point is, you do you, do what makes you happy. But I will tell you this, that if you dip your windows in Gauzy, you're going to love the results. Okay, so like I said, the car's just been in the warm liquid goo phase, and I've been getting everything else done. But now I can go ahead and pluck it out. It's still got a lot of color on it, but I can see just by using my little pinchers that it's just sliding right off. So we're good to go. I can take it and go wash the thing off, brush off any residual, and we're all set and ready to clean it up. Now, to quote Forrest Gump, life is Hot Wheels is like a box of chocolates, and you never know what you're gonna get. And that's the truth here, okay? You never know what you're gonna get until you get it out of the stripper, get it cleaned up, and brass bristle brush it. That's when you're gonna get the best idea of what you really have in the casting. So that's one of the reasons I just make it a habit to do that every single time. And now I can see that the car is actually not in terrible shape. I think just a blast with my Flitz calcium rust and lime ought to do the trick here, and I shouldn't need anything else except some Flitz polish and a polishing wheel, and we'll be good to go. Yeah, so we've got the car, we've hit it with the Flitz, we've washed it off again, and yeah, I'm really liking the way it looks. It's got some toning and little bits of spots and stuff like that. Not enough that I really think I want to go down and zinc plate this because I'm going to paint this blue. So blue is one of those dark colors that hides a lot of those anomalies. So I really don't need to worry about it here. It's still going to look fabulous, okay? I'm going to polish the whole thing with the Flitz before I paint it. And with that dark blue, it's gonna look trust me, it's just gonna look amazing, okay? Don't make extra work for yourself that you don't need to do. Now, here's a huge tip. Look where my left hand pointer finger is. It is firmly on top of the hood of the car. If you're gonna polish your casting and you're gonna use a rotary tool, you better have some finger pressing down on the hood while you're doing it. Otherwise, that buffing wheel is going to catch that hood, send it sailing across the room, and you've just ruined your car. All right? So always, always, always make sure that you're holding the hood down in some fashion when you're doing this part of the car, because if you don't, you're going to be met with tragic results. Now after the flitz and the rotary tool, we can go ahead and get the soft cloth and we'll polish this up. And you can see already, look how nice and shiny this is. Okay, it really does not need anything else. And any anomalies left in the body, you'll never see them underneath that dark blue paint. This thing's going to look cherry. Now, I want to tell you a story while we're here at the paint booth real quick. My blue paint had kind of thickened, kind of congealed a little bit. It was jelly-like, totally unsprayable. It's not a lost cause. All you have to do is thin it down with a little bit of lacquer thinner until it's at an airbrush consistency. Then once you've got that, then you'll go ahead and add some hardener to it, just like always, and you can airbrush it down. Now, I got to be honest, I did not do the best job in the world of thinning this down, so early on I got a couple little splatters, but by the time I got down to the wet coats, they started to all flow out and merge together and gave this thing a really nice, good, solid, clean coat. It ended up looking beautiful. Is it the way I would choose to do it? No. I would rather buy another bottle of paint, personally. That's just me. But if I have to, and that's what I needed to do, then it can be done. You can save your paint if it starts to thicken. Just use a little bit of lacquer thinner and you'll be all set. Okay, here we go. Let's put this sucker together. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there was a big gap above the rear wheels, where you could see right through the body side to side. It was really weird looking, and I thought, man, that was some bad engineering or something like that. And come to find out, it was actually that the interior was a little bit damaged where it connects to the car body. So I just kind of straightened that out, put it back on the glass, put it all back together properly, and it kind of fixed that issue for me. So it ended up looking great. Really happy with it. But anyhow, so we dropped that in, we put the base on, and we screw this thing back together, and then we can take a look and see what we've done. And there you have it. Just like that, I have a car that I'm super thrilled about. I got to be honest. Again, this is one of those castings where I really kind of discounted it. And in the end, I am loving it from head to toe. This thing is beautiful, and I am so glad to have it in my collection. Well, there it is, my little Mercedes-Benz 280 SL in a very hot blue. It's got the deep dish wheels. It's got this beautiful deep blue paint. It's shining like a penny. The hood works, motor, everything is looking fantastic on it. And now I can see what it was about this car that was calling to me. I guess I just inside I knew that when it was done, I would be happy with it because I am. And I hope you're happy with it too. If you are, please give this video a giant thumbs up, click subscribe, and don't forget to crush the notification bell so you never miss one of my videos. If, as always, you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I love to hear from you guys. Okay, well, that's it for today. I'll see you next weekend. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.